off with this particular color here. I'm using a brush that came with the palette itself. It's a double-ended brush, and I'll speak a bit more about that and later on. But let's just start off with this particular color here. Now with Fallout, there isn't too much of it actually, and this is one of those palettes which I love. It reminds me very much of the Morphe, and I know I'm comparing Lancome to Morphe, but I'm talking about the Fallout, whereby you can actually do your face already and just leave the eyes till last, so you don't get too much of a fallout. So I'm just going to do that, and I'm applying that all over the lid. This is the nearest color, well, flesh color there is. Now I prefer palettes where you've got both matte colors as well as iridescent, and also you know, well pigmented, and all the shiny little colors as well. You know what I mean, what I'm saying that. But I like it where you can actually use one palette to complete the whole look. So I'm just liberally putting that all over the lid, and as you can see, it's actually quite flesh colored. See, so I'm quite surprised. Initially when I saw that, I thought this is not going to match, it's going to be a bit of a disaster, but I've got this palette, and as you can see, it's matching. So we're just going to put that all over and make sure that everything is well blended in. The eye has already been primed with the NYX eye base, and that's the tone colored one, so that's already done. So we're just going to mix that all together. Okay, now that that's all mixed in, we're moving on to the next shade up, which is this one here, using a different brush. And we're just going to add that into the crease area. A bit powdery, isn't it? It wasn't like that with the other eye, but we're just going to mix that shade in and to give it a gradient effect. Okay, now we'll move on to the next color, which is this particular shade here, the darker shade. And again, we're going to mix it, or I'm going to mix it into the edge of the eye, just getting rid of any excess there, concentrating on the corner, and just blending that in so there is a gradient effect. And I'm also going to actually bring it slightly above my crease line, because as you can see here, that's my crease line there, but when I close my eyes or open them, then it goes a lot higher. So I need to take it just above, so you've got the gradient effect there. So just blending everything in nice and smooth, keep on blending away. And right, so this, I mean, this particular palette is actually for somebody that's probably for the more mature. Is for somebody who doesn't want anything too loud, the colors don't scream at you. It's something that's very subtle, it's very classic, but if you want to heighten the pigmentation and the coloring, you can do so. All you have to do is use a mixing solution, and voila, then you've got the color. And that's what I've done with this eye, and I'll show you. And in the meantime, as I'm mixing that in, you can see it has lots and lots of green shades in there. There are no blacks. This one is not black, it's a dark purple. In fact, the color itself is called Midnight Purple. So there are no blacks here, so it's just a whole load of sort of mauvey type colors and lots of greens. So I'll play around next time with the green colors, and you've got these other more brighter colors at the bottom that you can use. But it's actually a very settled, it's a kind of very settled palette. So just mixing that in and making sure everything is all blended in. Okay, now we're moving on to the next color, which is the darkest shade, which is the Midnight Purple. And we're just going to concentrate that on the outer edge of the eye and along the crease area to give it the smoky effect. Bringing it forward, and it is extremely pigmented, in my opinion. And I'm just applying this now. Is the you know, a palette worth getting? Yeah, you could get loads of these colors anywhere else. I'm not particularly that well impressed, to be honest, with this palette, because these colors you can get them elsewhere. There is nothing wrong with the pigmentation itself. If you want Lancome and you're into the actual label itself, and you want to stick with that, and you want something that's subtle, that's not going to scream at you, and you're perhaps a bit more mature, or you don't have to be mature, you just don't like, you know, really loud colors, then yeah, this will be the palette for you. It is £42, which is quite a bit of money. You could probably get you know, other palettes with loads of other similar colors elsewhere, or probably definitely. But if you're into Lancome and you want to stick with the label itself, then there's nothing wrong with getting this palette at all. So we're just going to mix that in and make sure that we bring it a bit forward, and work through that, and we'll make it into a smoky eye. Now that that's been mixed in, I'm going back in using the original brush that came with the palette itself, and I'm going to now use this particular color here. To intensify it. And this is where the pigment comes in. So as you can see, see that? That's more like it. And I'm just brushing that in sideways so that it blends in. Making sure that every section is covered. And we're just going to blend that in. Okay, and as you can see, that's all mixed in. Don't worry about the eyebrows, I'll sort those out off camera. But now that that's been done, I'm just going back in and now smoking out the bottom end of the eye. I'm actually going to start off with the dark color using the last brush I used in the corner, and I'm going to use the darker shade, dipping into that. And I'm just going to apply it carefully around the bottom end of the eye, and I've just got a little extra there. But as you can see, there isn't actually any fallout, so this is what I do like about this palette. I really love palettes where as you're applying it, you can do your foundation and everything else beforehand, and then you don't have to worry about any fallout, you know, falling all over the place and ruining your foundation. But failing that, you can also do your makeup, and just as you're baking, so to speak, you can keep the powder underneath the eye so that if anything falls off, you can still brush it off if you want to do that. But I prefer palettes where I don't have to worry about it. And using the same brush, I'm now going to go back in and use this particular shade here. So I don't know if you can see that, and then put that underneath the eye to blend it in so it's not so harsh, especially in the middle part of the under eye. Now I know this is not a shader brush, but it's slightly pointed, so I want it to be precise. I don't want it to go all over the place, and that's why I'm using the same brush. And plus it still has the products from before, so I'm keeping that in there. Okay, and now having done that, I'm going to go back in with the lightest shade that I started off with. And I'm going to start off by concentrating on the inner corner here, and then gradually taking it underneath. And voila. So back in a moment, just going to pop on some eyelashes and eyeliner, and you'll be able to see the finished product, and of course a lipstick, which is going to be a new one, and I'll share that with you. Back in a moment. And voila, here we are, it's all done. I've put in there, I've got my eyeliner and I've got my falsies on. These are the Ardell Wispies. They make me feel as if I've just plucked the wings off of a bird. And a little bit of blusher and also highlighter as well. And the highlighter is part of the Makeup Revolution Vivid Baked highlighter in rose gold. And the blusher was Max Raisin, and that was that. I had to change the lipstick because I had new products, which I'll give you a review on very shortly after this. And I tried these and I had to take those things off. Had to take them off. So what I have on my lips is from Kiko, new products from Kiko, and this one is part of the, I think it's the Double Touch, and look at that. they are really improving on their quality and the packaging from Kiko. But that's what I'm wearing, and it is in the color number 122, and it's meant to be able to have the color there, the pigmentation, you let it dry, and then you put the gloss. I haven't bothered putting the gloss on. I like it matte, and it is super soft and moisturizing. Brilliant. Do get them. But getting back to the actual palette itself now. Now this palette is for £42, and now it does come with a brush, which the sales advisor told me could cost quite a lot of money. Can't argue against that. I haven't checked it online, but the palette itself has, you have to press it, and it has all the colors there, and it is called the Audacity in London palette. It's brand new, and it has all the colors. It is very settled. There are no blacks, as I said. This is a midnight purple. Most of these are green. Of the matte shades, you've got this one, that one, and that one, and definitely this one. These are the matte shades. I'm just double checking, so slightly iridescent. Yes, so these are the matte shades. And then you've got those with a bit of pigmentation, and then you've got these ones which are highly pigmented, really bright, super bright, and you can use those instead. But that is the palette. It is a lovely palette. Is it worth money? Is it worth you going out there and splurging and spending £42 on this particular palette? Not in my opinion. You can probably get loads of other palettes that are cheaper with similar colors. So I'm not, if you like Lancome, go ahead and get it. If not, you're not missing out on anything with this particular palette. It is for someone who doesn't want anything too loud. It's something that's really settled. It is a beautiful packaging, as of course it comes from Lancome, so I'm not surprised. I have nothing against Lancome. I love plenty of their products. I love all their perfumes, all the ones I've had them for many years, so that's not a problem. But this particular palette itself is new, and I wouldn't go out and spend £42 on it, not even if the brush was £29 on its own, which is what I was advised still. But as you can see, it is very settled. You can play around with the colors, with the greens, but I would probably leave this palette. I just thought I'd try something a bit more high-end, because I have got quite a lot of other palettes which are much cheaper, but I thought, I saw this and I thought, oh, give that a try and see whether it's worth the money. So that is my opinion. You don't have to like it. You can go out there and spend your money, or you can choose to take this into account. But as you can see, it's very settled. Red eyes there because I am absolutely knackered. Next video coming up with new products, and as I said, with the actual lipstick from Kiko, it is a beauty. This color is absolutely stunning. Look at that. Brilliant. Sorry about the quality of the video as well, because believe it or not, the bits that I'm waiting for my camera so I can use my DSLR camera are still not here. Duh. So I have to carry on using my phone, which unfortunately changes the quality from 1080 to 720, or something happens when I upload the quality of the camera goes down when I upload. But never mind that. I hope that you enjoyed today's video, and it is quite settled, even for me, and I do like it. Actually, I do like the look, but it's not necessarily worth going and spending £42 on the palette, but it is up to you.